I've heard you mention good ingredients and bad ingredients. Is that the terminology? Could you list off some good ingredients and then list off some bad ingredients?
Yeah, like what the most common bad ingredients we find in skincare stuff.
Oh my goodness, there's propellants, there's, like I said, acrylates, there's formaldehyde. Fragrance doesn't have to be listed on what's in fragrance, and you could have up to 1,000 ingredients in a fragrance.
And we're back with episode 61 of Sarasota Speaks. What's going on, Sarasota? My name is Brad Hannon.
Trey Martell.
Felipe Colon.
And we've got an amazing guest with us today, Jackie Rogers from House of Hilt. So what is House of Hilt? We got to start there.
Well, House of Hilt is a clean beauty brand. I'm here locally. I make the product myself here in Sarasota. And Hilt is an acronym for honesty, integrity, loyalty, and trust. And we're a plant-based, toxin-free, filler-free skincare line.
I love that. I love that. And as a somebody that's very well educated on the beauty products, because my wife's an esthetician, and I joke, I just know a little bit from what she's told me. That's obviously extremely important, and a lot of products that are being used today are not so toxin-free, are they?
Correct. There's a lot of stuff on the market that is not toxin-free whatsoever. So
well, I'm just curious how you even got into that, because we'll get into your background a little bit, but in reading this, it's you were working with Boar's Head, content, marketing, stuff like that. Meat and skin, while they do have some similarity, very different industries. So what led you down this path?
Well, I think it all started when I was a kid. I would go to we were in the grocery store business, but I would go with my mom and my grandmother to the salon. That was the thing you did when you were the beauty salon. And there was a place called Yolanda's. And
is that the one where you would sit under the?
Yes, you sit under the dome. You get your hair teased. I mean, it was it was the 70s, right? So I was always fascinated with the products on the shelves at Yolanda's and the hairpiece and the barrettes and things like that, as a little girl would be. But growing up in the grocery store business, growing up in the, Boar's Head is a manufacturer of cold cuts, in case anybody doesn't know. They're living under a rock.
We're in Florida. You got it at Publix. Yes, they should know.
But it's always been in manufacturing or making or creating. When we had our grocery store, we were always making things from scratch, and that's what we were known for, is making, smoking our own meats and things like that. So I think it's always been part of my DNA that I create something.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so how long ago did House of Hilt come around, and what was the transition like from meat to skin?
Well, okay, so I
to skin meat.
I was doing production, and all of that, and I loved it. I still love it. But I was looking for something a little different, and it wasn't really until I had the experience that I had that really made me pivot. So I was over 40. And I had a couple of bucks in my pocket. I went out to a fancy department store, and I went up to the counter, and I bought a whole bunch of things. I mean, oh my God, if I ever told my mother how much I spent, she would have nailed me. So I spent a lot of money. So I was using the product, and my skin started to freak out. I mean, I was getting bumps that I had never had. I mean, I was getting dry patches. It was just a hot mess. And still working in business, I mean, if you don't have your best face on, if you've got breakouts on your face, there's I think a component of that doesn't help you feel your best, and you don't want to put yourself out there. And that's what was happening to me. And I thought, wait a second, time out. So my esthetician, her name is Jenny. I was going to a local here, and she said, well, what are you using? I said, my face is freaking out. And she said, well, what are you using? And I said, well, I'm using this and this and this. She said, well, did you read the ingredients? I'm like, no, I didn't read the ingredients.
They told me it was good.
Why do you have to read the ingredients? Smell it.
It was the most expensive one.
Right.
It's got to be good.
And then, the font on the back of the jar is just microscopic. So I said, no, what do you mean? So when I started to investigate, I realized that, wait a second, there's microplastic in here, there's chemicals, there's things I cannot pronounce. I really don't want that on my skin. So early on I worked with an esthetician to come up with a lot of the formulas. I worked with chemists, people that knew that space, because that truly wasn't my space. I can do a recipe, and that's basically what it is. But come to wanting to help people understand what is in their skincare and realize why it's important to use clean. And also to transform their skin. I am all about helping people. When I was doing makeovers on people, I had a little bit of a styling career before the bubble burst in 2008. But that's really where my heart is helping people look their best, feel their best. And, that's kind of where House of Hilt started.
What do you think you could do for Trey and Felipe? Like anything, or is it beyond repair at
Lost
this point?
causes.
Trey, I don't know, man.
Lost cause.
They're throwing you under the bus, man. What's going on?
I work in the sun. Listen.
I live under the bus.
And you live under the bus. Okay.
Hey, Felipe,
I'm not
Trey fell off a
driving it.
ladder today, by
I
the way.
did fall off a ladder today.
Hey,
but
viewers,
careful,
Trey
man.
fell off a ladder
tell you on
today.
the break.
Drop it in the comments if you think that's hilarious.
So
I hope somebody
There might
thinks
be footage.
So I've heard you mention good ingredients and bad ingredients. Is that the terminology? Could you list off some good ingredients and then list off some bad ingredients?
Yeah, like what the most common bad ingredients we find in skincare stuff.
Oh my goodness, there's propellants, there's, like I said, acrylates, there's formaldehyde. Fragrance doesn't have to be listed on what's in fragrance, and you could have up to 1,000 ingredients in a fragrance. So, these are the things that are very toxic. I'm sure you've heard of oxybenzoate, things like that that are in the sun.
The one that I hear about frequently is the parabens.
Parabens,
and,
yes.
Sodium lauryl sulfate.
Yes, very.
In your shampoos and your skincare stuff. So
Correct.
try to avoid that.
Now
Right.
we've identified some of those ingredients. What does it do to your skin?
It dries it. It fills it with junk. I mean, that's where you get some of these things. Milia, your wife,
Yeah.
of course, would know that. And you just get a dullness. It's not doing what they intended. So let's say a brand puts lavender in a jar, right? So lavender is a nice
Scent.
yeah, it's a nice scent, but it's an essential oil, and it does certain things. So let's say that somebody put all good ingredients in, but then they were putting in dimethicone and all of these filler ingredients, and then what, right? So everything they wanted to do to your skin, it's really not getting through and penetrating, and that's why having no filler is really the key to transforming the skin.
Now, why do companies use filler?
Cheap ingredients. Yeah, it's
Right.
cheap
What's it
ingredients.
repla- what's it replacing,
They're stretching
though?
the
Like what?
product, right?
And they're stretching
You
it
know,
out.
essentially,
So you
instead of
get
having
8 ounces versus 4.
yeah, instead of having like more of the active ingredient, which is expensive, they can
Right.
put the cheap oils or whatever in there
Correct.
to give you feel like you're
more
getting
raw,
more
yeah.
for less money.
Right. You're right on the money.
Who's regulating? Who regulates this stuff? You wanna break
Felipe's
that down?
always late because he's studying before the podcast.
Well, I was, I was actually
prepared, Felipe.
tossing her. Blender.
I don't.
It was
mean-
a lob.
Well, I can hit the lob too.
But I think this is where I was like, what? So that was my aha moment, because the FDA and I thought was, okay, these guys are the hard chargers, the USDA, FDA. I was very familiar with the USDA, and it's really a non-regulated industry. I mean, they haven't changed the regulations of the skincare business since 1936.
Oh, wow.
So now we're starting to see little changes here and there, but it's really a self-regulated industry.
See, that was my softball tray.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But not to get too esoteric, but I think your branding is very clever with the acronym, and I think that's important because when you think about consumer products, especially products like household products and skincare, we were all raised on what our parents were raised on, which is, the leading brand, the good housekeeping seal of approval
Right.
versus brand X. So we have these trusted brands. We don't look at the ingredients. We just know we're buying the name brand.
Right.
And we expect them to take care of us.
Right.
That's not so easy anymore because, they've gotten a little loose.
You're right. And even, there's a thing called, and that's really astute, because there's a thing nowadays called greenwashing. So some of the brands that you think would be truly clean, if you scratch the surface, really look at the labels, you'll notice they are not.
What is the term greenwashing?
Greenwashing.
I think I can imagine, but
So, you might have something that has a very clinical looking label, and you may put a leaf on it, and you may say,
natural.
yeah, natural or organic, but maybe they have some organic component.
Right.
But
But it's not like
It's
certified
not.
organic, or it's
Right,
not. It says
right.
botanical spray,
yes,
or
yes.
One
It's
of the,
very
one of the
it's
ingredients
esoteric.
passed through an organic facility at one point in time, and the rest of it is just, who knows.
I mean, there's stipulations, but it just kills me when I see a brand that used to be really good that was purchased by a large company, and then you start monkeying around with the ingredients. You're like, oh my God, I thought they were amazing, and they're not.
Yeah, and you can literally watch the ingredients change on the
Yes.
on the label as you buy the new product.
Purchased by those evil people at private equity.
Well, I mean, there's a grain of truth to every stereotype, right? And
Right,
corporate culture and corporate responsibility in this country has really changed over the last 50,
Absolutely.
100 years or whatever.
Right.
I mean, these guys are doing whatever they want to do to make money. Imagine, they get away with only so much in the food, the greenwashing, but in this stuff.
Yeah.
So where they draw the line because you're not ingesting it through.
Well, it's a different regulator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's true. And it's funny you say ingesting, because that was something that, again, I did not realize, is that your skin
Absorbs it.
is
Yeah.
your largest organ, right? This was like, what?
So the stuff that you rub on your skin, like lotions and such, does it get into your bloodstream?
Yes, and that's where anybody heard of endocrine disruption? Have we heard of this term?
Yeah.
Right. So that's where you're putting toxic stuff like full of parabens and all of the sunscreen, propellants and plastics, et cetera. That's getting in, and it's disrupting your glands. So your ovaries, your pituitary gland, your liver. I mean, it's making its way.
Yeah.
Or even the microplastics, right?
Yeah.
The
Or
microplastics.
the
as well,
bisphenol
I was gonna say,
A
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And they
still
stay in
studies,
your system.
yeah.
Yes. Well, and that's why when we created the SPF, it was so critical that it would be reef safe, because what's happening is,
Say
we
that
go
again,
in
reef safe?
Reef safe. So
Let's break that down.
if your product
Safe
is
for reefs.
safe for the reef. But again, we slather up or we spray our stuff on our bodies to protect us from the sun. We go into the ocean, it melts off of us, it goes and it kills the coral. So it's bleaching and changing the hormones of the marine life.
Yeah.
And that is why having Reef Safe on my label was so very important to me. Is I don't want to do any of that. So when I stand by Hilt, it's honesty, integrity, loyalty, and trust, and I take it to the hilt, and I will not, be worried about the profits, if you will. It's develop the best product that's going to make the transformation.
I love that.
So.
And I want to get into the products specifically and maybe some of the regimens, but before we do, I wanted to talk about kind of the transition that happened in 2020, because at some point or another, this was there's probably a lot of other people that maybe have the same feeling of they're doing something as a hobby. Like, I have a good friend, used to work with us here at the agency that was an agent, and she's selling like, juices, right? Well, I mean, she's probably making some money, but it's also like she was juicing on her own and became a passion. So now she's blending up these juices and, delivering them and having fun with it, right? Or we just had Jack Panda on, right? He really turned one of his passions, which is food, into meal prep services.
He was in ketosis.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was like, he's a few weeks out from doing a
He was
show.
in
and
deep ketosis. He's like,
I
I had to
deep
Uber
ketosis.
here because I don't trust myself to drive a car. That's how hard
But
I
he had so much energy, like it was quite interesting. But great guy and extremely passionate. That's probably where the energy came from. But at some point, it turned from a side project, passion project, if you will, to like going all in. So speak to that transition, because I think there's so many people, not just in our community, but every community that are there right now, either maybe making that transition or scared to make that transition or wondering if that transition will ever even happen for them.
Right. I mean, 2020 was a push because we all know what happened then. And it was like everyone was freaking out about where am I going to buy my stuff, right? So the uptick in online. And then, of course, I was slowing down because I was still keeping my day job with production and working with that. But then that slowed to almost a grinding halt. And so I thought, you know what? This is what I got, and I'm passionate about it. So let's go. And so it's been a steady climb since that. But I would say, never give up. If this is your passion, there's been a lot of heartache in, creating a brand. And back then it was, I can't get bottles because everybody's making hand sanitizer and everybody is making juice and beer. So I couldn't find bottles and caps to save my life.
Yeah, you better not be stealing from the beer.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that to you, Trey. I wouldn't do that to you. So, but
during pandemic, a lot of beer drinking.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was crazy. And then, come to find out, there's one manufacturer for treatment pumps in the U.S.
One?
I was like, what? Maybe I need a side hustle.
That's a great, yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
It's a market we could seize right there. That's
Yes,
crazy.
I
What do you mean treatment pump?
So,
the
so
bus?
this is a treatment pump, right?
Okay.
So that little component comes separate from the bottle, and there's only one manufacturer in the U.S. I try not to buy from overseas, but that is what we were dealing with. So it is hard, to wear every hat, right? Because I got to wear every hat.
Now, the testing of the products, how does that look?
The testing of the products.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Would
you like to try some?
He wants to test them. Spray some right
No, I
here.
mean, it's like, how do you, because that's a controversial topic,
Yes.
right? How skincare companies test their products to make sure they're safe for allergies or whatever
Yes.
they test.
Well, we only test on ourselves, of course. And
No animals.
No animals?
Oh, God, no, never.
That's what
Are
I was
you
getting
kidding
at.
me?
Okay, I didn't
Like,
want
that's
to.
barbaric.
Another
I didn't want to
softball.
say, do you test on animals? Like, yeah, actually we do. We
Why
rub it
not?
right in their eyes.
That's typically your that's
what
kind of your
everybody
go-to. It's funny that he tried to word that.
Are we allowed to laugh at this? I mean, is
Politically
that-
correct.
I
'cause
You know what?
People would be angry.
You're
I love
We're
probably
PETA.
laughing about animal testing.
No,
If
no.
we've been
Not
adopted
really.
a dog, we're in the clear.
Yeah.
You know what?
Big animal lovers.
When this all came about, I certainly, test, like when I come out with a new product, people test it, right? So my husband's wearing it, my girlfriends are wearing it.
So if you ever give me one for free, I'll be like, let me
Absolutely.
sure.
I
Might be
am
a guinea
going,
pig here.
I am going to give you an SPF for free because
Okay.
I think you will love it.
Yeah,
and-
he's in danger of a big tan over there.
Well, and that's another thing. See, so
Felipe, you're gonna have to share that sunscreen with me, buddy. Come on.
I
I'm the
think
one.
Brad might need this.
I just wanted to prove a point.
Give Felipe the hair oil.
You're
for
burning,
the-
you're burning under these lights, man.
Big time.
G-Dub, you got to turn those down. Hurting Brad over here.
Oh, man.
But that's another point that you bring up because everybody needs SPF and daily wear. People think, it's not sunny out. I live up in Pennsylvania. I'm from Scranton, right? So the sun never shines there, but you need SPF, and that's one thing that people don't recognize.
What's that old saying where people are like, the exposure to the sun is cumulative?
Yes, it is.
Explain that, please, because I feel like that's something our parents yell at us, but we don't really understand.
Yeah, well, it's born from
Still
years
to
and
this
years
day
and
as
years
he's an
and years
adult.
and years of not wearing SPF.
Okay.
And again, Pennsylvanian, never saw the sun, didn't know the importance of it. I wasn't using SPF when I moved to Florida. I had no idea, right?
Trying to get that natural tan
Oh
going.
my gosh!
Make
right?
all your friends back home jealous.
I never had a tan growing up, really. But we were of the age where we put the baby oil on.
Oh, yeah.
So
My
it
friend had
is.
SPF 4 the other day at the pool. I'm like, you spent like $12 on a bottle of nothing. Like, you should have just put lotion on.
Truly. So it is cumulative. So it stacks up year after year after year. And I think, I don't know if I should say this, but if you have a skin cancer, right, it's probably coming up from years and years and years of sun exposure.
Yeah, it's not like you just got
Right.
burnt at the beach on Sunday and next
And
week
then-
you have skin cancer,
Right.
which is a concern of mine, of course. But it's also like at a certain point you've had enough sunburns. As a kid growing up, it's like I don't like to be sunburned, so I'm going to put sunscreen on. Funny story, real quick. We were at and my stories are always funny, right, Trey?
Gets to the point quick.
And
He gets to the point
super
quick.
quick. No, I'll tell it quick. So July 4th, we're out on the boat to watch fireworks. So I had been putting we got out there like 3:00. So I started putting sunscreen on right away, and every 20 minutes because I'm just like, oh man, I feel like I'm burning sunscreen. 10 minutes later, sunscreen. So I had just gotten so routine to doing it. We were on our way back from after watching fireworks. As you can imagine, it was nighttime.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, where's that sunscreen? And I'm like, it just was like a thought and almost came out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was about to ask for more sunscreen because I'm like that conditioned to putting it on all the
Yes.
time.
As you
Not a bad
should.
habit.
No, it's a great habit to have. And as long as you're using the right one.
I'm reading a book about habits, so I'll explain to you
which
what
one-
it
which
does.
one is it?
Atomic Habits.
I forget the name.
Power of habit, atomic.
Power of
The
habit.
Yeah,
seven
I read all
habits
those.
of...
Yeah, Felipe wrote that book.
You're listening to it.
So
You're listening
can
to
I
it on
have
tape,
that?
aren't you?
Can I have that sun? No,
course.
we're going to stay
Well,
on the
not tape,
sunscreen.
but-
This is a new.
Okay.
This is a new product,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. It's a year old.
So active ingredients: non-nano zinc oxide.
Yes.
The other ingredients.
Would you like me to
are-
recite them?
Oh, sure. Look at that.
Show off.
I'll check your work.
Okay, there you go. Well, it's aloe,
Yep.
raspberry seed oil. We have tremella mushroom in there. There's shea butter. There is microalgae. So there's spirulina. There is...
I drink that sometimes.
Yes, it's good
In
for us,
smoothies.
right? Let's see what else is in there. The non-nano zinc oxide. Oh,
Not tested on animals.
There you go. The print might not have been big.
So the ingredients are all real things that we can pronounce, that you know where they're from, and you know they're ethically sourced and whatever. So that's great. One of the things I thought of is we're living in a great time for a small brand, because think like 20, 30, 50 years ago, right? If you told one of your friends, hey, I got this skincare line I make in my house or my facility, like, go ahead and try it. They'd be like, no, I'd buy this brand, this big brand over here that I trust. But people now are starting to care where their products come from and who they come from, because they know you care and you're accountable.
Yes.
Whereas these larger companies are becoming less and less accountable over time.
Yes, it's very good. And that was the other thing that happened coming out of 2020 and the pandemic, is that people are super aware. And not everybody. There's still a lot of education we need to do.
Oh, but the buyer of a product like this probably is.
Yes,
right?
Correct. That's
Trey.
that's really something, Trey.
Trey was making sure that he doesn't get any more.
Trey,
he might not be your typical buyer.
Well, that's what not to do with our SPF. So you don't need a lot, and I would have started with that.
This is how we learn, though, right?
You're the best.
Keep wiping it
Oh my God. Yeah.
You got a white face.
So it normally
it's zinc. So
but it normally doesn't leave a cast. Like
right.
You
no, I
won't
put a
have
little bit
white
on my
cast
nose.
on
Yeah.
your skin.
Nothing. Put a little bit on my nose. I think I'm fine.
Yeah.
I want to point out something too that says we are committed to the environment. That is why we use this carbon neutral sugarcane tube. So it's not just what's in the tube.
Sugarcane.
But it's
that carbs.
Take a bite out of it.
Yeah.
So that's the plastic that's made from the cane as opposed to the petroleum.
Yes.
And all the
cool.
inactive ingredients, I think you did this on purpose, would probably, like, you have rubus idius, which sounds like it could be bad potentially, but that's raspberry.
Yes.
Felipe, did you know that?
Yeah.
I did not.
See if you
I'm a little light on my Latin right now. I got to brush up.
see if you can get this one, okay? Olea europea. Take a guess.
As I said, I don't speak Latin,
It's a
Brad.
really easy one, though.
European
on.
olive.
Olive.
Olive, yeah. So there's olive oil in it. That's the other thing. That's an ingredient.
And
So-
obviously it's summertime. So SPF is really important. Where would you go to find this?
on our website, houseofhilt.com. And we're, currently we sell to estheticians. We sell in doctors' offices, across the U.S. So we're out as far as Seattle. But I really, really want to, have the support of where I live and in the community. So we're looking to work with a few retailers here.
So you
Sarasota.
don't-
Is that your business
Not
plan?
direct to
Business to
consumer.
business? That's kind of.
Well, we do business to business, but really direct to consumer. So, we have both offerings.
Okay.
So, but I can go on your website and buy this. I don't have to be an esthetician.
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
Correct.
I would hope so because it's all plant based. It's good for you, and I'm
Good
going
for
to
you.
make my wife buy me some of this sunscreen for sure.
There you go.
One of the things that's in sunscreen that I find very odd is something that like amplifies the sun. I don't know what that ingredient it is, but it literally, like, I use the Yucca app. Have you ever heard of that?
I am so glad you brought that up.
Oh, does it work?
We are one. Go for it. I'm going to let
Ooh,
you.
here we go.
I'm going to let you do it. Drum roll, please.
So this is the app tray. So like sunscreen here. Oh, look. This is the ultra sheer SPF 70 from Neutrogena.
Okay.
It was 0 out of 100 bad. It has octrylene.
Based on your skin tone, I think you might be using the app wrong.
So there's a lot of stuff in it, but
Right.
and isobutane. That's
Yes, isobutane. Again, propellants, right? Like
Right.
these are flammable, ingredients.
Yes.
That's the stuff they put in the aerosols that make the stuff come out of
Guess
the can.
the score.
There you go.
Okay, guess my Yucca
Neutrogena
score.
Well, how do
was
you
0
score it?
out of 100.
How do you
It's
score it?
out of 100. Neutrogena was 0 out of 100.
87.
I'm going to go 95.
You guys underestimate her.
Really? 95
This
is
is
pretty
a
good.
100 out of 100.
Whoa!
Drop the mic.
That's
We are
some
done.
strong SPF.
This
I
is
see-
what
I see why you
Felipe
like
got
the
on
app,
his
you know?
SATs.
All right.
yeah, get that app up.
So Yucca is from the UK, and they are, for those who don't know, it's an app where you can scan everything you eat and everything you put on your skin, the cosmetics, and then get a rating. And as you just pointed out, that
100.
particular brand, right? We've gone up against some other heavy hitters in the SPF world, and they are 0 out of 100. So
Yeah.
I'm so thankful you brought that up because we score 100 out of 100.
100 out of 100.
Hey, we are having an absolute blast and an informative time learning all about skincare here with Jackie Rogers. If you want to get to know her a little bit more, stay tuned for rapid fire questions fueled by food and beer.
I'm Jackie Rogers, CEO and founder of House of Hilt Skincare, and this is Rapid Fire.
10 random questions, 10 specific answers, nothing off limit. This is Rapid Fire, fueled by food and beer. Do you have a favorite musical artist?
Favorite. Ooh, it's hard to pick a favorite. Barry Manilow, Led Zeppelin, and if I had to pick a third, I would say Bruno Mars.
What's your favorite professional sports team?
Green Bay Packers.
What's your favorite place to visit?
Home. Pennsylvania.
Home is where the heart is.
Whether it's Creed or Debbie Gibson, what's your favorite karaoke song?
That's really tough because I love all kinds of songs and music, but I think it would be something from No Doubt. I really love Gwen Stefani. She's got a good vibe. Hey, baby.
If the machine existed, would you time travel or teleport to anywhere in the world?
I think I would like to teleport.
Scotty, beam me up.
You're going to a Halloween party. What are you dressing up as?
I want to go as the Tooth Fairy. That's what I want to go as.
Raise your right hand. I swear to perform the duties of a tooth fairy.
What's your favorite show to binge watch?
Anything on Hallmark during Christmas.
Premieres Thanksgiving night at 8, part of the 5-night Thanksgiving movie event on Hallmark Channel.
If a movie was made about you, what kind of movie would it be? And who would they cast for you?
Well, it would be a feel-good movie with romance, maybe rom-com, because I like fun and having fun, and I have a great sense of humor. So, and then who would be me? Julia Roberts.
What's a skill you don't have, but wish you did?
Math. Oh my goodness. I wish I could do math.
Math sucks. Math sucks.
So much better. My husband's amazing at math.
Siesta Key Village or St. Armand's Circle?
St. Armand's Circle.
So obviously, skincare in Florida starts with sunscreen. So this is a great product, clearly by a third-party, source. Yuka said it's 100 out of 100. So that's awesome. We trust you a little bit more already. Now let's talk about some of the other products.
Well, thank you. Where would you like to start? Skincare, especially guys, and I would love to hear, I might know a little bit
My
about your
routine's pretty
skincare
serious.
routine, but like, what is your take on skincare, being men?
Wow, a question for us. Felipe, I'll let you start.
Why you letting me start? I'm going to remind you of this next time I want to start. Skincare, what my impression is lately, I'm told if we don't do it, we're going to age prematurely. So that's probably something I should be considering more. But
It's like flossing. I know I should do it, but I don't.
well said, Trey. Well said.
That is well said.
My skin routine consists of this. I get out of the shower, and Morgan says, bring the towel over here. You didn't dry your elbows all the way off. Then she dries my elbows a little bit more, and she rubs lotion on my elbows.
Yes.
And then we hit the couch.
And that's important.
That's skincare for your
That's
elbows.
important. We might be able to amp it up just a little bit.
Where am I lacking? Where do I need to improve?
Well, I haven't got to share my skincare routine, okay? I'm really excited for this.
No, but I do the wash.
Elbows?
What is
Okay.
it? I forget the orders. Either wash, tone, then moisturize, something like that.
Yep.
You know?
Good.
I have all
That's
these
good.
He just
That's
made
good.
that up. He just made that up. He's
Yeah,
got
I
a
made it
bunch
up.
of Neutrogena products that have
I'm not that basic,
parabens.
Brad. I don't have any Neutrogena.
We know. So my skincare routine, are we just talking like yesterday in general? Because yesterday, hydrofacial, microblading, and then I did an enzyme mask followed by a toner, I think, or maybe the toner was first, enzyme mask, and then finished it off with some moisturizing cream and some SPF. Even when I was going to bed.
Now-
just-
He's a level 3,
Yeah, we're
Now,
trying
what
to
do
get to
you
a 5.
say about the stigmatism that I think that's kind of feminine?
It's not. It's critical. We all have skin. We all want to look good as we age, right? We don't want to look like, the
right.
shoe leather, right? and you especially being on roofs, mister.
Yes,
I'm going to
yes,
get after you. But it's not just for women. It's not, girly. Now the numbers for men taking care of their skin and the men's products that are coming online is amazing. I mean, our skin care is, for everyone. So I have transformed my husband's skin and a lot of our guy friends. It's just amazing to see the aha moments that happen when you're using skincare, because cleansing, like you had said, the most important steps. And this is not like 25 steps. This is not a Korean skincare line where you need to do, 80
You say
things.
Korean?
Korean. They're known
Their
in the
skincare
world
routines
for their
are
skincare
intense.
routines.
Had no idea. 25 steps, huh?
Cray. So cleanse, exfoliate, repair. We have a repair serum. And then hydrate and SPF, and you're done. So it's not crazy.
So my rebuttal to the fact that it's feminine would just be, one, my wife's an esthetician, so that's the real reason for it all.
Are you defending your masculinity
No,
right
that's
now?
one of it. No, that's one of it.
But that's why he's a level 3.
What you don't like realize, because you have regular skin, is like when you have baby ginger skin like me, it gets so dry and it feels like my face is like like a freaking desert, right? So like I use hydrating lotions and decent products because it actually like makes my skin, like it makes me feel better physically. Plus I just always want to look better than you guys on this podcast. So and I do a pretty damn good job of it, if I do say so myself. So
amen, brother.
What can we do to get these guys some better skincare so I have some competition?
All right. Well, it's a simple routine. Our men's essentials are face wash, which is our herbal mint cleanser, which is really wonderful. And you guys don't shave.
Sounds revitalizing too.
It is. It's minty. It
What do
has
you
a
mean we
little
don't
bit of
shave?
lick. Pardon? You don't. No, you don't. But you guys all
see his
have,
armpits.
have beards. So where
No,
are we?
this is this is
toned
like,
You insulted him.
you know those people in England with the gardens, with the hedges? This is like my version of that.
Let me finish. So, Mr. Edward Scissorhands, where I was going with that is trying to get guys off of toxic shaving cream.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can shave with our herbal mint cleanser. So
There you go.
you're washing your face, but you can also, foam it up and shave, and you'll get the smoothest shave. And
That's
so
what
if
you
you
should
are
use.
trimming your beard and not using an electric, clipper to do the job, then absolutely. But you do need to wash your faces. And so herbal mint cleanser. And then it's a toss-up. I mean, if you wanted to start using the peptide serum, you can use the peptide serum. That's a repair
I
product.
use some of that too.
See?
For your skin, Brett.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's
Yeah,
why he
no,
looks
not
like
the
a
other
baby,
peptides.
right? And then you would just exfoliate, which you guys do. That's why men age so great, because you're exfoliating when you're
with the razor.
shaving
Oh, yeah,
every
yeah,
day,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
So that's why I think guys age so beautifully, is because you're always getting that exfoliation. But the rest of you needs exfoliation as well.
Yeah.
So exfoliate maybe once or twice a week, and then follow it up with a facial oil, which could be really good and hydrating for your
Could be
beard.
like an aftershave oil too, probably.
Correct, absolutely. And that's your moisturizer. Or if you prefer cream, we have the avocado rosehip moisturizer, which guys love, and an eye cream. I think it's important for everybody to have an eye cream, under your SPF. So.
What's the eye cream more for, like wrinkles, or is that like?
Yes, for plumping, for wrinkles, and I have presents for you
Ooh.
guys.
I need the eye cream. I know
love
that.
gifts.
Everybody's getting an eye
We love
cream.
gifts.
I'm almost
How's
40.
that
We need
feel?
the eye cream is good.
Dude,
Yeah.
that
So here
you
you
need
go.
I'm on
you need
board.
Botox to fix that. You can't do that's probably works great, but it's not going to fix.
Morgan exfoliates me
So-
once every 2
Very
weeks.
cool.
We call it the
Illuminating
scrub
eye
down.
cream. I love
Yes,
it.
the illuminating eye cream. So everybody needs eye cream.
You know
and
what
this
this?
will help.
You know what this means, right?
Oh, it
This-
doesn't have.
oh,
I'm
it
not
doesn't
on
have a
Yucca
label, okay.
with that yet.
What about
Try
these
to put
ones?
it on.
Anything else? No.
No, I mean
This
these
is
are
the
just
most important, anyways. But
yes, but they're all very clean. So
Yeah.
they're again. The Tea and Trust, if it's House of Hilt, you don't have to worry about it at all.
I do love that. I think that most men, when they get to their 30s, maybe like early 30s, mid 30s, I think most of them would love the education on it, but just don't want to be feminine, like Trey's concerned about, right?
Yeah.
So,
But I think it's also we're falling like we were
but
talking
when
about
you're this
earlier.
masculine,
Oh,
you
we're-
don't worry about a little femininity.
It's the same conversation we were having about the brands earlier. We're falling victim to this this cheesy marketing that says you need the man's version of that product. You need the one with the, and then they have the commercials where people spiking volleyballs and, cheersing beers and
shotgunning.
That's the one I got to buy.
And 9 times out of 10, it's the same stuff.
It's the
that's
same
in
stuff.
the girl's bottle.
With a different scent,
Correct.
too.
Yeah.
With the same
and that's
chemicals.
true. With the same chemicals. So.
Which I was going to ask you, do you have plans for maybe not ever, but do you have plans in the near future for like a men's specific line, or you just like to keep it universal across the board either way?
I like to keep it universal, and that's kind of why I went with a more classic, look and design. We're packaged all in glass, no plastic. So that's why I kind of kept it, more unisex, and not going one way or the other. And I would love to do a men's line, but again, it's kind of the same thing. You've got skin, and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to transform it. So
it's amazing how marketing. When I look back when I was a teenager and worried about acne, right? I went to get the SPF. I'm like, I'll pay a little bit more for the Neutrogena version because then it'd probably be better for my
better.
Right. And we do have
I was
these,
probably sticking plastics down my pores.
Well, like you pointed out, we grew up with these brands, and they've got such deep pockets to do television and radio, and they're with us for 50 and 60 and 70 years. So it's brands you trust, right?
Yeah, and you feel cheap when you buy the other one. So you don't want to feel cheap. You want to feel.
So
I made it. I bought the Neutrogena, not the brand X.
That's how I was feeling.
Let's talk a little bit about the regimens you have on the website. I saw. So these are. Basically, I saw like dry, or there was a couple different categories. Like, how do you feel? So is that safe to say that if I felt like I had dry skin, that would be my best go-to, the one that says dry, right? Like it's made it easy for people.
Absolutely. And we are all about making it easy, and we're all about full service. So one of my dearest and oldest girlfriends, her name is Jenny Califano. She was the esthetician I was telling you about originally in the story, and she works with us. She's our in-house educator and esthetician. So I would say, come in and do a consult if you're here locally, but you can always call us. But what Jenny has done is, we've gone through the line and said, okay, you've got rosacea. Rosacea is a real problem. So what are the best products that are going to help that individual calm and hopefully clear the rosacea? So we've got products that will help you, certainly if you're dry, if you're worried about fine lines and wrinkles and anti-aging. We've got something for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you ain't worried about it till you're worried about it. You're turning 40 pretty soon here, so you might want to just think about it. I know you got a smoking hot wife coming up and all of these things, but maybe, just a little something.
Yeah, I'll start with the eyes.
Yeah, get ahead of it.
Start with a hydrofacial. I'll get you scheduled next week.
You're always squinting, right? You're on the roof.
Well, I smile a lot.
Right? And me too.
He probably doesn't wear sunglasses
but
either. All that roof reflection, man, you got to protect your eyes.
Yeah, so get on this stuff.
So I think we should, is there any other products that we haven't really talked about that we want to mention, or we feel pretty good about the products we've covered?
Our 2 top sellers. I mean, I've got a whole kit full of things, but
we'll keep busting them out. I'm interested myself.
I'm also interested in kind of how it's going in the business side, because I think
absolutely
this came out of Sarasota, and this is, I think, a unique market for this type of product.
Indeed.
Right? The consumer's educated. It's a little bit of an older demographic, right?
Hit me up with that.
Sun.
A lot of sun.
So that I'll be interested to see what you think about that.
I love a good hydrating mist,
Yes. So we'll have you. So our cleansers. Here we go. And I won't go over everything, but I just wanted to, when you're talking about the demographic, Sarasota is a great market. Certainly for SPF, and for skincare, and people are more tuned in, to taking care of themselves and the health of, and their well-being. So, I'm very, very happy to be in a market that is open to entrepreneurs and, getting, supporting local brands. And we need all the support we can get. So,
but I also think that, when you're in your 50s or 60s or 70s here in Sarasota, this is not like up north. People are active. They're going out. They're not just spending time with their families. A lot of their grandkids don't live here. They're out on the town, they're going to see shows.
Kayaking.
They want to look their best. They're kayaking. They're doing all that kind of stuff. So I would think what you're doing, especially with the educated consumers that are here, would really resonate with those types of folks.
It does. And I am so blessed and so grateful that we have a lot of those customers.
Very cool. Very cool.
My wife's going to try to take this illuminating eye cream, by the way, but this one's mine.
Okay.
That's funny because I got the facial yesterday, and she's like, remind me to do an enzyme mask later. You're super dry. And I said, yeah, it's the sun over the weekend and whatnot. And we get home, and she's like, okay, here's the enzyme mask. Just do this, walking me through what I need to do. So I do that. And then she's like, and then put the cream on that's under my sink, and we share a drawer with all of our product, right? Like lotions, creams, whatever. It's all in one drawer. And I go over to her side and and she's got like 3 or 4. I'm like, oh, these are all the good ones, huh? You're keeping for yourself.
Yeah.
So I think House of Hilt will be mine, and then she's got hers,
There you go. Well, I want you to I'm going to have you smell this. Right? I took it off. You don't have to take it all the way up, but smell it.
Booby trap.
So,
Oh, you're smelling that.
Oh, wow.
Get you some of that.
Hey, easy.
he needs windshield wipers. He needs windshield wipers.
Yeah. He clogs up his bifocal.
This is intense.
So this is the herbal mint cleanser. This would be our, if you wanted to shave with it, but give that a little
Very
smell.
cool.
Don't eat it, Trey.
So Morgan,
You might want to.
Morgan, this would be the face. This would be the face cleanser that you're looking for.
Little wildflower in my life.
I like
See?
it.
It's good. The rose, that's another product of ours.
yeah.
The rose neroli.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's good.
See,
stuff.
this is like a
Here,
manliest
Like a
scent,
little
like
shot,
it's.
this is an oil, so you can
okay.
put that in your beard,
in my
and
beard, okay.
tap it on your face, put it in your beard, on your skin. This is this is
Really smack it in
25.
there, Trey.
You'll have to tell your wife about this. It's 25% lipophilic vitamin C, and that's huge because you rarely ever find a product with 25% vitamin C in it. So I'm going to give you some of this. You
Absolutely.
only need, a little piece
This is
of
for
it.
beard oil.
That's just a
You could
face
use this,
oil.
but this is going to help you with anti-aging, any brown spots. It's going to keep you hydrated, and you're going to be
When
amazing.
You really want to rub it into the fingers,
like
and you just want to, kind of gently, just move it around like this.
Trey, you're hired, man.
You're doing good.
Now look at you, baby. Woo!
When we first started dating, Morgan used to do the lotion on my face, but it's
Now it's just the
we're 2
elbows.
years deep, and I get the elbows.
What do they call those? Those are the salad days, right? Something like that. There's an old saying.
Honeymoon face.
Well,
Salad days.
So we've talked.
What's that mean?
We've talked a ton
Before your
about
time,
the.
It must be.
We've talked a ton about the label and the packaging and all that stuff. But the thing that stands out, more than anything, and the fact you're on Sarasota SpeaX, it's on Orange Ave, right? So you're a Sarasota-based brand, which is awesome. When did you move to Sarasota?
I moved
you
to-
personally.
In '96.
Okay, so you've been here
yeah.
you've been here for a little while.
I've seen the changes.
Yeah. So you're basically at this point like a Sarasotan. Fair
Yes.
to say.
We've adopted
I'm
it.
actually here longer. This year I'm here longer than I was in Pennsylvania.
So you're no longer a
So-
snowbird.
Correct. Yes. No. I. When people ask you where are you from, I always say Pennsylvania, and that's home because home is where your mom is. But yeah, I'm actually here now.
Yeah.
In Sarasota. Yes.
Love it.
I
Plus,
love it.
anybody pre-2000, I feel like, is a pioneer. I mean, University Parkway ended at Honore. I mean, it was a pasture out there.
Yeah. I lived out there.
It's a
No
different
Lakewood
place.
Ranch High School.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a different place.
It was a different place. I mean, they used to roll the streets up at night. on
Speaking
Main
of
Street.
streets,
Well,
Tominator-in-law wants to know, what are your thoughts on roundabouts? Do you love them or do you hate them?
do you need a one-word answer?
No,
Yeah,
we want a
elaborate.
passionate
Oh
answer.
my gosh, I do not like roundabouts. Please, Lord, do not let another one go in.
Too
and there's
late.
another one going on Railing.
Bay of Vista. There's one
Right in front of our house.
Today was hilarious. Bay of Vista and Tuttle now has one, and
What?
well, it now has the cones for one. So I felt like I
I think
pulled
they're
up
just
to the
doing
intersection.
plumbing work. I think that's
There's
a temporary
no
thing.
way, dude. It's they made a circle out of it. Like there's a circle. It's got to be a roundabout.
Anyways, back to you.
No.
Tell
no,
me more about why you hate roundabouts. What happened? Are you confused?
No, I'm not confused about roundabouts. I try to avoid them at all costs. I don't think we need 15 of them in a row. And I understand there is an element where they ease the traffic and stuff, certainly, but seen a lot of accidents. But I think what we need to do is Eric needs to do a video that plays at the airport so that when tourists come, we've like, hey, we have a lot
Yeah.
of
Now that's
roundabouts,
innovation.
right?
I like it.
Education.
So why don't we look
What a
at
great
this
idea.
how-to while
Yeah.
we're waiting
Yeah.
for the bags to come out, and maybe
That's a
we
great
can help
idea.
people.
Welcome to Sarasota. Here's how to use our many roundabouts.
Yes,
That
that's what we
might be
should
the
do.
best roundabout answer we've ever had.
Well,
Wonderful.
I love it.
Always about solutions.
I think
and being
it
positive.
should
I
be.
love that shit. I try to teach my fiance that positivity, solution oriented. I love it.
Solutions-based.
I can see it now though, can't you? Like, hey, welcome to the Sarasota Airport. My name is Felipe Colon. I'm here to tell you how to use the roundabouts as soon as you pull out of here. When you approach, you give the educate like.
I mean, I
And it's-
nominate you for that, Brad.
Sponsored by
that'd be
Hilt.
hilarious.
House by Hilt.
There you go. I'll do that.
You're more the
It's almost
educator
like
type,
a PSA, right? It's a
That's
PSA.
great.
That's a great idea, actually. That would really set us apart from other, there's a lot of airports in Florida, and there's a lot of towns, and people come from the same places to come to Florida.
Right,
That would
yeah.
set us apart. That's the place where they.
Hey, if you
teach
want to get
about
a
the
drink,
roundabouts.
we recommend you go over here. If you need this, we go over here. And by the way,
Go
on the
have a
way, when
drink
you
and
hit
then
that
drive to the
Don't
roundabout.
stop.
Right. Yeah, it's tough, man. I know we've all seen the horror.
Well, so it's fair to say that you've been here long enough to meet some great people, some people that maybe we want to know. So, Felipe,
Yeah, usually for our last question, it doesn't have to be our last question, but usually is, right?
Mm-hmm.
We ask people, you've been on the show, you see what we do here, you see why we do it. There are other people in town who who Sarasota needs to know, who we don't know. So we're hoping that you can recommend some of those people.
Oh my goodness, I can give you a laundry list. I know
Who should be on
everybody.
Sarah Speaks?
Top
Who
three.
does Sarasota need to
Top
know?
three.
Okay.
You've been here
so-
since '96. I'm sure you know
Oh my
everybody.
goodness.
right?
So you may already know her, but Cheese Louise from Artisan Cheese Company in the Rosemary
I
District.
don't, but that's in my neighborhood, and I've heard about her. I've heard
gotta go check it out.
She's a first-class cheesemonger.
Oh,
That's what I
first
hear.
class. She's my
That's what I hear.
bestie. That full transparency, because trust, Hilt, got it all. Integrity.
Cheese Louise. That's
Cheese
fine.
Louise. Well, it's Artisan Cheese Company, and she is the
On
most
Central.
on Central. She is the most amazing woman, but her selection of cheese and her depth of knowledge and her offerings and the beauty that she puts out. Best lunch, by the way.
No
for
kidding.
Tacos.
I got a new lunch spot to check out.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Great.
So it's
great
not
spot.
just a cheese shop. They also have a full lunch.
Yes, they have. Well, I wouldn't say a full lunch. She does like a grain
Light
bowl,
lunch, okay.
a taco,
Light
and
lunch.
a wonderful toasty grilled cheese. So you can always get something amazing. And plus, she's a huge following certainly on social, but she does the storytelling night and she does pop-up dinners and all kinds of things. So she's a great person. I would definitely call Louise.
Anybody else or?
Well, can we use your name?
Absolutely,
All right,
we can call her right now if you wanted to.
Let's call her on the podcast.
We'll call her when we're done.
Right. Perfect. Perfect.
So yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much, for coming on the podcast, for educating my colleagues here. We actually, guys, want to let you know we set this up because as we grow the podcast and, are behind cameras, we just want just a little bit of maintenance done every once in a
Listen,
while.
I got my hair cut today.
It looks great. It looks great. But seriously, thank you so much for coming on. Where, one more time, can people find you to order your products and maybe even learn more about how to take care of their own skin?
Yeah, it's at houseofhilt.com. And you can make an appointment with Jenny or myself to do, the walkthrough of what's the best regimen for you. But that's where you can find us. On social.
Any other final thoughts than things that we might have missed?
Well, I just want to say thank you, guys. This is so amazing. I'm very, very all about the community and the arts organizations and education. And so I'm excited to see where you guys are going.
I think we had a blast too.
Yeah,
so.
thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Awesome,
My
appreciate it.
pleasure, really.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate
my friend.
you.